Ladies and gentlemen, we have had two absolutely amazingly intensive days of discussion with leading policymakers from all over the world, with major Energiewende stakeholders, both public sector and private. And I think, and we were just saying that here in the Weltsaal, if there is one silver lining to this hybrid format, it's the fact that we were able to hear such diverse voices from all over the world, because it is a message that has always gone out here from the Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue, but this year more than ever, to succeed in transforming our energy systems and to get to our decarbonization goals by 2050, this has got to be a global endeavor. And we've also heard again and again, both yesterday and today, in so many of our discussions, it has to be a systemic, a holistic, and a joined-up effort that transcends all kinds of boundaries, national boundaries, political boundaries, boundaries between silos. And for that reason, our farewell is also a joined-up effort. We have both of our hosts with us here in the Weltsaal to give us a wrap-up of what they see as some of the key themes that did emerge over these 2 days. And I will first give the word to the State Secretary from the German Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy, Andreas Feicht. Please, you have the word.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you both, Melinda and Jennifer, for your eloquent moderation over the past 2 days. Thank you very much to the Excellencies, country representatives, and all the other speakers and panelists for their great contribution to the BETD 2021. And thank you very much to the Federal Foreign Office, Antje, for hosting us, and to the team behind this fantastic event. After we had to cancel last year's event due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I'm delighted to see that this conference has succeeded in gathering so many leaders and decision makers in this virtual new format. The BETD has fortified its position as a leading international forum on the global energy transition, with more than 50 ministers, VIPs, and many more high-level speakers and participants discussing opportunities and challenges of the energy transition. This gathering can truly be seen as a starting point of a global Green Deal. Of course, we hope that next year in spring we will again be able to hold the Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue in its traditional on-site format and to welcome you all in Berlin. I'm confident that this will again be possible. We have come a long way since the first BETD conference 6 years ago. The global energy transition has progressed a great deal, but we all understand that we will still need to speed up a lot more. It is excellent and very encouraging that more and more countries commit to the net zero 2050 target. We very much hope and push for a further widening of this net zero 2050 alliance. After goal setting, the next challenge is to come up with a step-by-step plan how to get there. It's obvious to me that we need international collaboration today more than ever in order to take the energy transition on track. It was therefore a great pleasure to host the President of the EU Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, at our conference, who made very clear that the EU will push the global energy transition forward with the European Green Deal. I was also inspired to hear that many other countries are moving in the same direction. And with the strong participation of the US by Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry and Secretary of Energy Jennifer Granholm, the BETD has sent a strong signal to the world. The US are back in driving the global clean energy transition and fighting climate change. Over the last 2 days, we have covered a very comprehensive range of issues, discussing both opportunities and challenges of the clean energy transition. We have looked into how the energy transition can strengthen the competitive edge of our country's economies. And while we are convinced that the energy transition is good not only for the world's climate, but also for our economies and societies, we neither must forget those people who, at least in the short term, are negatively affected by the transition. We need to come up with viable solutions and offers for them in order to secure wide acceptance, which we need to lead this historic transformation of our energy systems to a lasting success. The solutions, recommendations, and best practices discussed here at the BATD are a further step for the energy transition and all stakeholders in society to move forward together. The deployment of renewable energy combined with energy efficiency remain a key pillar of the energy transition. However, some sectors which are difficult to decarbonize require completely new approaches. Therefore, carbon-free hydrogen will play a crucial role in completing the energy transition. But even if it combines many advantages, yesterday's and today's panel on hydrogen showed there are still many challenges ahead of us before large-scale utilization of hydrogen becomes feasible. To overcome these challenges, Germany's National Hydrogen Strategy puts a focus on international collaboration. We are looking to build partnerships with third countries in order to create international hydrogen value chains and trade links. Our strategy, therefore, includes a series of EU and international projects, including the integration of hydrogen into our bilaterally energy partnerships and up to 2 billion euros of funding for international cooperation. I would welcome as many other countries as possible to join that partnership because we believe that the success of carbon-free hydrogen will ultimately depend on the success of international cooperation. And Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am particularly excited to see all of us working on the energy transition in our countries, having the Global Green Deal in mind and gather again for the BATD 2022, next time hopefully in person. Again, thank you very much for joining. I'm looking forward to see you next year here in Berlin. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, State Secretary Feicht. And before I hand over for closing words, dear ladies and gentlemen, let me just say one more time, we are eager to have your feedback on the BETD 2021. Please do go on our website. You'll find a feedback form there. And if you just take a couple of minutes to fill it out, we'd be very grateful to you. And let me also express my own thanks to the ministries for making this very, very productive interchange possible at BETD 2121, to the whole organizational and backstage team who have made a very complex production go so smoothly, and of course to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention and your participation throughout these two very intensive days. And now it is my pleasure to hand over to the State Secretary in Germany's Federal Foreign Ministry, Antje Lindertze. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mrs. Crane, Andreas Feicht, ladies and gentlemen, global energy community. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. And I think we have now the situation that after 2 days with exciting debates on climate neutrality, transatlantic relations, hydrogen, and many other issues, that we have to come to an end. And what is my personal takeaway from this conference? First, the momentum behind global energy transition is stronger than ever. You can feel that. Nothing demonstrates this better than the high-level participation by many countries, among them the United States, India, China, Saudi Arabia, but also Panama, South Africa, Nepal, and New Zealand, in total 110 countries worldwide. This momentum is a source of optimism for me with regard to the upcoming COP26 in Glasgow. Secondly, second takeaway, the new virtual format of the BETD has allowed us to gather even more participants than in previous years, and we have been able to span almost the whole globe. Melinda has mentioned it. Some of them with speakers from all continents, and some of them making their contributions at unusual times of the day in their time zones. So let me thank you especially for this commitment. Third takeaway. Global energy transition will transform the international landscape. For example, many Latin American countries have recognized their opportunities, their chances to become future energy exporters. But also the current exporters of fossil fuels have started to think about new business models linked to renewables. Germany is open to all partners. Through dialogue and consultation, we want to ensure that the transformation takes place in a cooperative way and in a mutually beneficial way. So where do we go from here? The debate on climate neutrality has only just started. Important actors such as the United States, China, and the EU have committed themselves to climate neutrality as a long-term goal. This year, we have discussed concrete ideas how to get there. This discussion will, of course, now continue in the coming years and will need to increasingly focus on very specific policy decisions to take. We have already roughly scheduled the next Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue for the end of March 2022. By that time, I hope that we will have largely overcome the horrible pandemic we are facing today and was often mentioned also in the conference. In view of the tragic human, economic, and social and cultural consequences of the pandemic, there are important lessons to be drawn for the future, many important lessons, but one lesson is that through digitalization we are able to come together as international community and cooperate even closer than before. The BETD has been practicing this with an online campaign since May 2020, and of course with this virtual conference we are participating and now closing. I expect that also in the future the BETD will use the benefits of digitalization and combine them with the advantages of personal face-to-face encounters, which are so much needed. Climate neutrality also has consequences for the symbolic ambassador of the BETD, the Green Sofa. In the past, the Green Sofa has traveled all continents to promote global energy transition and the BETD. We used to compensate all CO2 emissions caused by such travel. In the future, we do not only want to compensate, but avoid CO2 emissions. Therefore, the big Green Sofa will travel to extraordinary events only, such as, for example, COP26. From now on, our new ambassador, I will show it to you, will take over. In the coming year, the mini Green Sofa will facilitate innovative digital formats. It will bring the BETD to you at home, and the mini Green Sofa will enable you, the global energy community, to take part in and continue the discussion about the global Energiewende. I'm very curious to see how that will work out. I hope it will work out well. Stay tuned and follow us on social media as well as on the BETD website. We look forward to seeing you very soon, be it online or in person for BETD 2022. Thank you.